This tragic event unfolded with horrifying speed and remains shrouded in persistent mystery. Bright sunshine illuminated the enthusiastic crowds lining the streets. Suddenly, the festive atmosphere was shattered by the Shah, echoing cracks of gunfire. These brutal shots irrevocably altered the nation's trajectory and left an indelible scar on the collective psyche. The official inquiry, famously known as the Warren Commission's investigation, ultimately concluded that a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, was solely responsible for the president's death. This definitive pronouncement, however, quickly became a lightning rod for intense public skepticism and widespread disbelief. Decades have passed since that dark day, yet a substantial portion of the American populace still adamantly believes in a far more intricate and sinister plot. This alternative narrative posits a meticulously orchestrated conspiracy involving powerful and clandestine entities. The very phrase, "the truth they don't want you to know," has become synonymous with these compelling alternative theories. These theories frequently suggest a vast, intricate web of deceit designed to conceal the true perpetrators. One of the most fiercely debated aspects centers on the precise number of shooters involved and the exact origins of the fatal shots. The Warren Commission unequivocally asserted that all shots originated from a single location, the Texas Schoolbook Depository Building. This multi-story brick structure, overlooking Dealey Plaza, was where Lee Harvey Oswald held employment. Specifically, investigators pinpointed a sixth-floor window, partially obscured by boxes, as the sniper's vantage point. However, a significant number of eyewitnesses present in Dealey Plaza reported hearing gunshots emanating from different directions. Many distinctly recalled sounds coming from the infamous grassy knoll area, a slight embankment to the president's right. The crucial acoustic evidence, particularly the foundational single-bullet theory, has endured as a point of immense and ongoing contention. It supposedly passed cleanly through President John F. Kennedy's neck and then proceeded to grievously wound Texas Governor John Connally. Critics of this theory vehemently argue that the bullet's complex trajectory and the nature of the multiple wounds render this scenario highly improbable, bordering on physical impossibility. The almost mythical concept of a magic bullet has profoundly fueled a multitude of conspiracy narratives. These narratives imply a deliberate attempt by authorities to oversimplify a far more complex and multifaceted sequence of events. The Warren Commission's account of the bullet's path continues to face intense scrutiny from ballistic experts and independent researchers alike. Discrepancies in the official narrative leave many feeling that a crucial piece of the puzzle is missing. This invaluable footage has been subjected to relentless scrutiny, analyzed frame by agonizing frame by countless investigators. Both official government bodies and independent researchers have pored over its contents. For numerous observers, this pronounced backward motion directly contradicts the Warren Commission's assertion that all shots originated exclusively from behind. Consequently, this visual evidence strongly supports the compelling theory of a second shooter, possibly positioned on the grassy knoll. The film's most critical frames have been ceaselessly analyzed for the slightest anomalies, potential alterations, and hidden clues by those relentlessly searching for the concealed truth. The intense visual evidence contained within the Zapruder film continues to generate fervent debate regarding precise bullet trajectories and the total number of assailants. His intricate background includes documented connections to both passionate pro-Castro and fervent anti-Castro groups, significantly adding layers of geopolitical complexity to his possible motives. Jack Ruby, a known Dallas nightclub owner with alleged underworld ties, publicly claimed he shot Lee Harvey Oswald out of profound grief and righteous anger over the president's death. Numerous diverse groups have been implicated in the various alternative theories surrounding the assassination. Some theories suggest that powerful mob bosses, incensed by Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy's relentless pursuit of their operations, sought brutal retribution by orchestrating the elimination of the president. Another profoundly pervasive theory points fingers directly at elements within the secretive U.S. government itself, specifically the powerful Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Disgruntled factions operating within the CIA, perhaps feeling deeply betrayed by President John F. Kennedy's actions during the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion or his perceived softening diplomatic stance on Cuba, are frequently cited as potential architects of the elaborate plot. The deeply unsettling idea that powerful intelligence agencies could operate entirely beyond democratic oversight to achieve their own clandestine ends is a disturbing and chilling aspect of these conspiracy theories. The formidable military-industrial complex, a term famously popularized by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in his farewell address, represents yet another formidable entity frequently mentioned in these intricate conspiracy discussions. The chilling notion that defense contractors and military leaders would conspire to eliminate a president who fundamentally threatened their vested interests paints an incredibly grim picture of unchecked power and profound corruption. Furthermore, fervent anti-Castro Cuban exiles, who felt profoundly resentful of President John F. Kennedy's perceived abandonment during the failed Bay of Pigs operation, are also considered potential co-conspirators. The House Select Committee on Assassinations, HSA, a specialized congressional body formed in the late 1970s, courageously revisited the vast array of existing evidence. After meticulous re-evaluation, the HSA ultimately concluded that President John F. Kennedy was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy. However, despite this monumental finding, the committee regrettably could not definitively identify the specific individuals or groups that were involved in that complex conspiracy. This official acknowledgement of a probable conspiracy, while directly contradicting the Warren Commission's earlier lone gunman theory, still left a multitude of profound questions unanswered. Moreover, it significantly fueled an even deeper, more pervasive public distrust in government institutions. The HSA's findings, though inconclusive in naming names, undeniably validated many people's long-held suspicions that the underlying truth was considerably more complicated than initially presented. Yet, the inherent lack of definitive perpetrators from the HSA report only amplified the profound feeling of an elusive and purposefully suppressed truth. Crucial documents related to the assassination, often classified under strict secrecy for many decades, have slowly and incrementally been released to the eager public. Each subsequent release of these historical records sparks renewed public interest and intense speculation, with dedicated researchers meticulously sifting through countless pages for any overlooked clues or revelatory disclosures. The ongoing, continued classification of some critical documents, despite decades having demonstrably passed, is seen by ardent conspiracy advocates as irrefutable further proof of an active and deliberate cover-up. What profound secrets do these persistently hidden files still contain? Who are the powerful individuals or clandestine organizations that continue to benefit from keeping this vital information from the American people? These are the compelling, driving questions for those who firmly believe the complete, unvarnished story has yet to be comprehensively told. The very act of withholding crucial information creates an unavoidable void that is eagerly and inevitably filled by a myriad of alternative explanations and theories. The enduring, almost spiritual fascination with the John F. Kennedy assassination speaks volumes about a fundamental and deeply ingrained human desire for transparency and unequivocal accountability within governmental structures. It represents a deep, unhealed scar in the American psyche, marking a singular moment when national innocence was irrevocably lost and fundamental trust in revered institutions was profoundly shaken. The numerous, meticulously researched books, compelling documentaries, and artistic films dedicated to unraveling the intricate mystery of the assassination unequivocally testify to the powerful, enduring grip this event still holds on the collective imagination. Every somber anniversary brings forth a fresh wave of rigorous analyses, impassioned discussions, and renewed, urgent calls for the complete and unredacted declassification of all remaining official records. The ominous shadow of Dealey Plaza continues to loom large over American history, serving as a constant and unsettling reminder that some profoundly important chapters remain agonizingly unfinished. Moreover, it is a stark reminder that some fundamental questions stubbornly and persistently persist, refusing to be silenced or dismissed. The unsettling absence of a universally accepted, entirely unassailable truth fosters an environment where deep-seated skepticism thrives and proliferates. Some theories courageously delve into the intriguing possibility of foreign involvement, though these particular hypotheses are generally less prominent than the more widespread domestic conspiracy theories. Could the formidable Soviet Union, deeply embroiled in the tense Cold War with the United States, have played an active and clandestine role? Or perhaps Cuba, under the unyielding leadership of Fidel Castro, searched his chest, retaliating for repeated and documented attempts on his life orchestrated by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. These complex international angles add yet another profound layer of geopolitical intrigue to an already incredibly intricate and confounding narrative. The historical context of the intense Cold War and the volatile political climate of the 1960s certainly provides fertile ground for such unsettling hypotheses to take root. The palpable global fear of nuclear war and rampant international espionage loomed large, consequently making foreign intervention a plausible, albeit still unsubstantiated, scenario for some fervent theorists. The meticulous medical evidence surrounding President John F. Kennedy's devastating wounds has also been a central and enduring focal point of intense controversy and scrutiny. Their findings, while ultimately forming the foundational basis of the official Warren Commission report, have been continuously challenged by numerous independent medical experts and forensic specialists who vehemently argue for pervasive inconsistencies. The critical chain of custody for crucial evidence, particularly the president's brain, has also been a persistent subject of intense scrutiny, with some fervent theorists claiming it was potentially tampered with or even surreptitiously replaced. These alleged discrepancies and irregularities in the medical evidence serve as crucial, foundational pillars for many who firmly believe in a vast governmental cover-up. Beyond the intricacies of the medical and ballistic debates, the observable behavior of various key individuals in the immediate, chaotic aftermath of the assassination has also powerfully drawn significant suspicion. The rapid and undeniably hasty swearing-in of Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson aboard Air Force One, while constitutionally sound and procedurally correct, appeared to some critical observers as overly precipitous. The existing security protocols, or the alarming lack thereof, during the entire motorcade route have been rigorously questioned and extensively scrutinized. Was the chosen route through Dealey Plaza unnecessarily exposed and inherently vulnerable to attack? The hurried actions of the United States Secret Service agents, particularly their remarkably swift cleanup of the chaotic crime scene, were later widely criticized for potentially destroying crucial forensic evidence. The persistent concept of a deep state or a shadow government frequently emerges as a central tenet in discussions pertaining to the John F. Kennedy assassination. This powerful theory posits that a clandestine network of unelected government officials, influential industrialists, and covert intelligence operatives wields true, unchecked power. This hidden network, according to the theory, manipulates major national and international events behind an opaque veil of secrecy. The terrifying idea that such an entity could assassinate a sitting president and then successfully orchestrate a comprehensive cover-up for many decades is a profoundly disturbing thought. Yet, it is an idea that resonates deeply with those who harbor profound and ingrained distrust of governmental authority. This particular interpretation speaks volumes to a profound disillusionment with democratic processes and the integrity of national leadership. Early reports often uncritically reinforced the convenient lone gunman narrative, presenting it as an undeniable fact. However, later diligent investigative journalism and critical documentaries began to cautiously explore the increasingly apparent inconsistencies and contradictions. The constant, overwhelming flow of information, and, regrettably, misinformation disseminated through various traditional and emerging channels has made it exceptionally difficult for the public to accurately discern verifiable facts from pure, unadulterated speculation. The chilling phrase, "the truth they don't want you to know," can also refer to the carefully crafted and rigidly maintained narrative perpetuated by mainstream media. Some critics adamantly argue that this narrative actively suppresses alternative viewpoints and dissenting analyses. The intense battle for the narrative continues unabated, with dedicated historians, intrepid journalists, and independent researchers all contributing their perspectives to the ongoing, complex discourse. Even today, more than 60 years after that fateful day, the John F. Kennedy assassination continues to inspire a plethora of new theories and exhaustive re-examinations of old, long-standing evidence. Remarkable advances in forensic science and sophisticated digital analysis occasionally bring tantalizing new perspectives to light. However, these rarely yield definitive, universally satisfying answers that can appease all parties involved in the debate. The enduring, unresolved questions surrounding the assassination powerfully highlight the immense importance of thorough historical inquiry and the critical, skeptical evaluation of all official governmental accounts. The fundamental human desire to comprehend such a profound national loss and to ultimately find justice for President John F. Kennedy ensures that the relentless search for the full and unvarnished truth will likely persist for countless generations to come. The John F. Kennedy assassination remains a gaping, open wound in the collective memory of the American people, a haunting mystery perpetually waiting for a universally accepted resolution. The fervent quest for absolute clarity about that devastating day in Dallas remains undiminished and as strong as ever. Each new generation of Americans grapples afresh with the lingering questions and the persistent, gnawing feeling that something essential and crucial is still purposefully hidden. The vast, extensive archives of evidence, ranging from poignant witness testimonies to complex ballistic reports, continue to be rigorously re-evaluated and painstakingly reanalyzed. Historians frequently debate the nuanced motivations of the esteemed Warren Commission members, often suggesting that intense political pressures might have unduly influenced their ultimate conclusions. The perceived rush to definitively identify a single perpetrator could have been driven by a compelling desire for national stability during a moment of profound and unsettling national crisis. This particular interpretation does not necessarily imply malice on the part of the Commission, but rather a regrettable expediency in a tumultuous time. However, for many critics, such expediency, no matter how well-intentioned, simply does not equate to the ultimate truth. This involvement subtly hints at potential connections to shadowy, clandestine intelligence operations, raising even more questions. The pivotal role of the House Select Committee on Assassinations was crucial in formally acknowledging the probability of a conspiracy, thereby diverging significantly from the Warren Commission's original stance. This official paradigm shift, however, tragically lacked the conclusive, undeniable evidence needed to definitively name specific conspirators, leaving a profound vacuum that continues to be eagerly filled by pervasive speculation. The assassination also raised profound and deeply disturbing questions about the very nature of power in America, questions that resonate even today. Thus, President John F. Kennedy attempting to steer the nation in a fundamentally different direction, one that powerful, deeply entrenched interests vehemently opposed. His often debated stance on Vietnam, his concerted efforts to curb the immense power of the Federal Reserve, and his diplomatic overtures towards communist Cuba are all frequently cited as potential, powerful triggers. These significant actions, when viewed through a critical conspiratorial lens, suggest a president courageously challenging forces far greater and more formidable than himself. The tragic outcome of his presidency, therefore, is interpreted not as a random, isolated act of a lone madman, but rather as a deliberate, calculated act of political assassination. The American public's enduring and pervasive distrust is a testament to the deep-seated belief that the government has not been fully transparent regarding these events. The constant demand for full and complete disclosure of all remaining classified documents is a constant and echoing refrain from dedicated researchers and the public alike. Their deeply personal internal struggles and profound disagreements with the official narrative add significant emotional weight and gravitas to the ongoing, heated debate. The pervasive cultural impact of the assassination simply cannot be overstated. It fundamentally reshaped an era. The poignant image of President John F. Kennedy, a vibrant, charismatic young leader, tragically cut down in his prime, is indelibly etched into the very fabric of the national consciousness. The multitude of unanswered questions continues to fuel a persistent sense of unfinished business, a desperate desire for definitive answers that might, perhaps, never fully materialize. The potent phrase, "the truth they don't want you to know," will likely remain a powerful, enduring symbol of skepticism and a relentless quest for deeper understanding in American society. The relentless and painstaking pursuit of new evidence, even many decades after the tragic event, profoundly underscores the immense and lasting impact of this single, pivotal event. Every new piece of declassified information, no matter how seemingly small or insignificant, is meticulously analyzed for its potential to unlock the greater, overarching mystery. The very act of rigorous analysis by independent researchers tirelessly keeps the flame of crucial inquiry and investigation alive and burning bright. The profound historical significance of November 22, 1963, extends far beyond the confines of the political sphere. It has become an undeniable cultural touchstone. The pervasive and unsettling feeling that crucial elements of the story are still deliberately concealed fosters a climate of deep-seated suspicion and mistrust. The narrative meticulously woven by the Warren Commission, initially accepted by many Americans, has steadily and significantly eroded under the relentless scrutiny of public opinion. Persistent questions about the reliability of key witness testimonies, the handling of critical physical evidence, and the official interpretation of events continue to stubbornly persist and demand answers. The complex concept of plausible deniability often arises in intense discussions about potential governmental involvement. This notion suggests intricate layers of operatives and strategic cutouts, all meticulously designed to obscure the identities of the true masterminds behind the conspiracy. This intricate, shadowy web of potential co-conspirators ultimately makes unraveling the true nature of the assassination a daunting and incredibly challenging task. The ominous shadow of the Cold War, with its clandestine operations, high stakes, and pervasive paranoia, provides a compelling backdrop where such a sweeping conspiracy could conceivably unfold and thrive. The staggering implications of a successful presidential assassination, orchestrated by powerful domestic forces, are simply immense, leading many to believe that such a devastating truth would indeed be rigorously suppressed. The persistent official silence on certain critical aspects, or the frustratingly slow drip of information over many years, only reinforces these deeply held convictions among the public. The profound and universal desire for emotional closure tragically collides with the frustrating absence of a definitive, universally accepted explanation. The John F. Kennedy assassination remains a dark, compelling, and endlessly enigmatic puzzle in American history. The American public's relentless search for profound meaning and undeniable truth in the face of such a monumental loss continues unabated and undeterred. The enduring, haunting memory of the motorcade in Dallas and the fatal shots irrevocably haunts the very fabric of the nation's history. The unified call for absolute full transparency echoes loudly and persistently through all the subsequent decades since.